And some of them really piss me off. So if you haven't, shut your mouth. Sometimes you got to get fucking burnt, man. And being too smart can actually hurt you. And oftentimes, what's stopping you from succeeding is you being too smart. Oftentimes, the way through a problem is just being an idiot. Sometimes you have to dumb yourself down in order to succeed. Smart people, they don't really do very well, especially in business and just in general in life, with women, with all these different things, because they overcomplicate everything. They also overanalyze everything. They analyze so much to the point where they start analyzing themselves. And too much self-reflection can actually stop you from taking action. You don't want to be like that. You want to be actually taking action all the time. But if you reflect too much, especially early on, if you start focusing on all your little mistakes, how the fuck are you going to beat someone who is not worrying about their mistakes and is constantly taking action? If you're a smart person watching this, I don't know what smart means to you, but smart to me means someone who is able to see consequences, someone who can see into the future, someone who can think a couple of steps ahead. That to me is mostly what a smart person is. Someone perhaps who's good at like academia. That can also be part of the subset of things that make you smart. But most people who are in that kind of subset don't do well because it's just too much calculation. It's too much over analyzing. I have this problem as well. And every time I have this problem, it slows me down and I have to figure out a way to become dumber again to actually continue taking action. The worst problem is if you become too smart, you become too aware and you become too aware of everything. And that can lead to paranoia, but that can also lead you to not want to pursue things. If you can already simulate the path to success, you're likely not going to take that path because it's already done. Your mind starts believing that it's already done. If you're so smart and you figure out how the monetary system works, and then you realize it's a scam, you're not going to want to participate in that scam. But you do have to if you want to be rich, if you want to be successful, if you want to have the best life possible. You actually have to engage in scams and Ponzi's and things like that in order to get ahead. You know, smart people as well, they'll never buy a course. They'll never join some sort of online community. They think everything is a scam, and most things are a scam, absolutely. But sometimes you have to get involved in a scam. See, smart people see things as pointless often. Or what's the point of this? What's the point of going up to this many girls? Or what's the point of doing that? And what's the point of doing this? And what's the point of networking? And blah, 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 blah. And I know a lot of smart people. I know guys who are in their 150 plus IQ and stuff. I know plenty of them. And they struggle in life. They think they're smart and they retreat into this whole, oh, I'm an intellectual. But then they can't get things in life because it's not an intellectual game. Life is not an intellectual game. It's a psychological one. I keep saying this. Anything to do with the surface level achievements. Intellectually, sure, maybe you want to get into creating new theorems for whatever, or solving some arbitrary problem in mathematics. Sure, you can do that. But you can also get things in life. You know, you can get women, you can get money, you can have material success, you can have enough money to pay for your kids. But most part, people can't get it. They stop themselves from getting it. Sometimes it's hard to beat dumb people because they're nonstop action. But you have to dumb yourself down sometimes and just take raw action. Just have irrational belief. Like even my brother is a very, very sharp guy, very smart. And he'll struggle with stuff that's spiritual. He'll struggle with things that are sort of in the realm of irrationality where you have to believe in yourself to do something. He'll be like, well, I failed at this and this wasn't worth it and therefore this. And he just rationalizes the whole thing. And it's just hyper logical. But sometimes you can't be logical. Sometimes you have to be completely irrational and illogical. Sometimes you have to convince yourself that you're the greatest thing on the planet. Sometimes you have to convince yourself that you can achieve a task, even though it's probably impossible. Most people will be like, oh, you've never done that before. See, that's the thing with smart people. They'll be like, oh, there's no path here. This hasn't been done before, so therefore I'm not doing it. Oh, therefore it's not going to work. Aha, I figured out that it's not going to work. And they get this little fucking dopamine spike from that. But you actually have to dumb yourself down sometimes. Be irrational in your belief, have insane self-belief. Sometimes you have to do crazy things. For me to fight this side of me that's like super logical and this won't work and this blah, 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 I go to the spiritual side. I have a Russian girl that I talk to and she's like my fortune teller. Do I believe in it fully? No, but I know that it kind of helps me because I'll be like, oh yeah, the spiritual element. And I get comfortable in that. Maybe I'll pray. Maybe I'll read some sort of spiritual book. Maybe I'll read about Buddhism. Maybe I'll believe in something. I'll talk to someone who's very spiritual. And that helps me live in that kind of world because if I'm reading too many technical books, listening to everything that's very logical. If I just focus on that, I'm not going to have irrational belief. And business, you need like just irrational self-belief and belief in what you're doing. It's not logical. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. You can become so smart to the point where you hurt yourself. Same with, as I said, you see scams everywhere. Everything's a scam. But sometimes delving into the scam is a good thing. I joined this one like online group chat and everyone's like, oh, this is a scam. I joined it. I paid the fee and it was a lot of money. I paid the fee and I ended up meeting so many people from it. So it's often what people call a scam and what seems like a scam on the surface. Sometimes you have to delve into it. Sometimes you have to get involved in the pyramid scheme just to see what things are like. Sometimes you got to get fucking burnt, man, in order to gain experience to become even wiser down the line. But if you're smart, you're not going to be taking action because you're like, well, I already foresee the consequences, so therefore I'm not going to take any action. I already know what's going to happen. But do you? Have you felt it? You haven't. So if you haven't, shut your mouth. And that's the problem with smart people and some of them really piss me off. They act smart. They can't figure out they sometimes seem to be stupid.